me now, I have a property in my village. If you want to sell it, you do not find a buyer. But it's there. So I'll declare it. When you declare it, you put the property there. If you know the cost of constructing it, when your dad did it, I'm sure it might even be like 50,000 naira. It's the original cost that you are looking for. If you can find it, put it there. If you cannot find it, say it's not known. And say the source of that property is inheritance. You are not the target of what they are looking for. Okay? Next one is, when will the tax association take off? And what can we do to make our little contribution and not to make government accountable? I already explained that. So as soon as we finish the registration with the CAC, we have the constitution and everything is ready. Website is being worked on. So there will be a website for the association that you can interact with. And we want to make it national, not just something that is focused on Lagos and Abuja alone. They need to go everywhere. So we need every Nigerian to support it. So I'll be more than happy to see everybody come on board. We hold government accountable by just asking those questions, asking them with force. It will not be by asking you and you are doing us a favor to explain. It will be by force. If we need to activate the Freedom of Information Act to do so, if you don't release it, we'll sue those individuals. There are consequences under the act. We'll sue them in their individual capacities. If we need to bully the National Assembly to amend the law, we'll do it. We'll put in the newspaper, we'll do articles, we'll not keep quiet. Media will come on board on top of this thing. If it's in the newspaper every single day and media, they will do something. If they don't do something, their term will come to an end. They won't get re-elected. So, accountability is key, and we have to make it happen. The next person is VAIDS desk. We said that they're supposed to be in all the tax offices, and my brother went to a tax office, the controller is not even aware. 3 months since we started. You are right. It is not everybody in the tax authority that is aware. I've raised this issue with the Joint Tax Board. They told me, FRS said that they sent a memo to all staff that they don't know whether all staff works. It doesn't mean I've heard people who didn't know, and they work for the tax authorities. So the way you're supposed to do this right is very painful. They make life impossible for you. So some of these projects are being done, and some powers that be that are not getting money that they used to get before are trying to frustrate the efforts. I won't say more than that, but even the money for the media campaign was hanging for more than 6 months. They couldn't get the money. This event we are doing today is being partly sponsored by the Ministry of Finance, but even the money they will not get out. Yeah, so we're having to help as PwC pending when the money is out. I know how these things work. If you are not paying a bribe, things don't come out. If they are going to come out, they take forever. So, and we can't give up, because this thing is to just do what they want and move on with your life. But we have to start fixing it, even though it's difficult. There's this lady at NIPC, and I will say it, because I think sometimes it's good to have this information so that it helps with how you react to when you see things that happen. So this lady at the NIPC wants to do the right thing. She was with Stanley. And the only reason she went to government is to help, not that she's looking for money. The money is a tiny fraction of what she was earning. As soon as she got there, they welcomed her by saying that, did you not see the budget we approved for you? It was more than what you applied for. So your agency went to government. Budget, 2 billion, they gave you 2.5. She said, I saw it. I just thought that the National Assembly is very supportive of what we are doing. That's not how we support you. Now, that extra amount is for us. And the lady said, well, I don't know what you're talking about, and I cannot do anything that is against the laws of this land as enacted by you guys. Long and short of it, without saying too much, was that she refused. And to deal with her, they started an investigation, which they told her, if you don't cooperate, we'll investigate you. She said, well, I can't stop you from doing your work. Some of us will be aware now, they invited over 214 companies just because of her to investigate pioneer symptoms. You know, these things look nice on paper. You say you're trying to help Nigeria, you know, there has been abuse, money has been wasted. The public will never know what goes on. Under it, it's a very different game altogether. They invited her on the first day, come and see the way they harassed her. I was almost crying because I was at the National Assembly. And I said I wanted to speak. And they said I couldn't speak because I didn't work for the NIPC. Eventually I said, but I have a very important information that will help you work on this committee. They gave me the phone, the microphone. Some of the harassments, you know, like imagine saying to someone that you are the head of NIPC, you don't know that there's an abuse. Look at NLNG, they got 10-year pioneer status. Easily 5 years, the maximum in the law. And the lady did not know what to say. That was just one of the so many they said though. So on that one I said, just to enlighten you, there is an act called Nigeria LNG Fiscal Assurances and Guarantees Act. It granted the 10 years, it was not NIPC. So don't blame this woman for it. I think. Went to the next one. As soon as I got to my third point, the guy said, are you Supreme Court? How you come here and be interpreting law for us? He hit that thing on. I said, if you have anything, send it to us in writing. You can't talk again. And he collected the microphone from me. But it was so obvious to everybody. It was a full hall. It was obvious to everybody that it wasn't well intended. If you had good intentions and you didn't understand what you said, and somebody was verifying it, you should not even appreciate them. You were unhappy because the intention wasn't to get the right answers, it was to harass someone. That process is still ongoing now. They might remove her tomorrow. She's ready to go whenever they say go. But she says as long as she's there, she will do the right thing. So when you find a few people like that, you know, even the finance minister too, finding it very difficult. They've asked her to refund about, I think it was 2.5 million. But she did a seminar and did not follow BPE process to do 2.5. When you ask a whole minister to refund 2.5 million for seminars, how much can somebody steal if they are doing seminar for 2.5 million? So the 2.5 million wasn't the problem, right? God will help us. But we also need to help ourselves. So if a company wants to do VAID, does it mean it should file audited accounts? The answer is yes and no. When you get to the VAID website or you use the offline forms, it will ask you specific questions. Some of those questions for a company you can only get from the financial statement, but even beyond the financial statement, there are other information you need to provide. So the answer is provide information as requested on the forms. You can now put audited financial statement as part of your attachment, but it's not audited financial statement that we are looking for. Reason is also because we have seen enough in Nigeria to know that there are audited financial statements and there are audited financial statements. I'm sure you know exactly what I'm saying and even what I have not said. Okay. Some of them are not what the paper they are printed on. Okay. Another question says, are there any measure in place to check the incidence of double tax, e.g., consumption tax has been introduced in Delta State, but we also have VAT that we need to tackle? The answer is that VAID will not address it. Because VAID is just saying, come and volunteer and pay taxes that you think you are liable to. But is there an action to deal with double tax? Yes. Now, what we're trying to do with double tax, I told you one of it already, is to get an amendment to the Constitution that says maximum number of tax per level of government is maximum of 10. We don't know whether that will work. We need everybody to come on board to make it work. Another thing is for us to restructure. You know, we say let's restructure Nigeria. I think we are very confused. If you are poor and you restructure poverty, you still be poor, isn't it? So the fundamental issue is not the political and restructuring that people are talking about. It's about how can we make Nigeria work. When you reward people for doing wrong things, more people will do wrong things because that's the reward they get. Do you agree with me? If I'm a lawmaker and I get paid an allowance for going on recess, why should I work 24/7? I should look for every excuse to go on recess. Because one, I'm not working and you are paying me for not working. If I'm a civil servant and I earn 50,000 naira per month, but when I travel, my extra code for one night is more than my salary, I will look for places to travel to, even when there's nothing happening there. When El-Rufai and the National Assembly had their issue, you know, they took their seminar to Kaduna, invited El-Rufai to come and speak. The guy said, you guys, you are fighting against the anti-corruption fight. You have not disclosed your one line item, National Assembly, 150 billion. What is the makeup? He went and sat down. Ugara came and said, you think you are the cleanest person here? You too. All your security votes. Have you told us how you spend the money? I like the exchange because it's good for them to beat themselves up, right? We benefit from that. A few days later, El-Rufai went and published his payslip. See what I earn. The guy earns a little over 500,000. I think it's 535,000 naira per month. And I'm paying tax on it, and there's nothing more. Ugara fired his own too. See my own payslip. His own is 400 and something thousand. 400 and something thousand. Me too, I pay tax. But the truth of the matter is, extra code for one night, when the governor travels out, it's over $1,000. When those lawmakers travel out, it's about $950 per night, just one night. And what you just need to do is to find anything and go to the US. First, you are spending our money to enter flights. You are collecting more in extra than your salary, and you are not paying tax on it. Why won't we? They invited me to one event for head of MBAs. And they said, let's see how MBAs can work together to improve efficiency. Because not only is the revenue we are collecting very small, we are very wasteful. So a little is left for anything that is meaningful for the people. Dr. Joe Abba at the time was the head of the agency that is coordinating government agencies. He gave a presentation, and it was the first time I heard that information myself. He was using data, he was not using newspaper articles, real data from MBAs. He added up all line items. He discovered that in 2014, these our country spent 101 billion naira on travels and extra goods, going nowhere. In 2015, when oil price was already coming down, that amount came down to 65 billion. In that same year, we spent only 19 billion on road nationwide. Road nationwide. I just told you my experience from Enugu to ASABA. Nightmare. We spent 19 billion on road. We spent 101 billion traveling to nowhere. The following year, 65. 2 years ago, 166 billion. Why would you not have those kind of things? Because we are rewarding the wrong behaviors. Why are we paying civil servants 50,000 naira? Why are you paying them 18? I know the jobless people inside those cars as well. And country is paying for those. When Obama ends, and even now Donald Trump, he has decided not to even collect salaries, collecting $1. So let's use Barack Obama. As the American president, when you eat at the White House, you get an invoice for it to pay. Sir, there's no free lunch. You only get a free lunch if it was a state function. So like, president has invited another president. That other president has to eat, right? So you two eat, that one is free. But there's no state function. You and your family, you eat our food, collect invoice and pay. And they pay diligently. The salary of American presidents, you know, you can Google it, you see Obama's returns online. You see everything. $500,000 is what they earn, and that's all. Here you tell us that 40 million is the amount. We still cry and say it's too much. When the manager in the bank is earning more than 40 million naira, let him earn a decent amount, because when you become a president or senator or minister, there's a lot of expectation on you. There's a lot of burden. So it's expensive. I'm of the opinion that they should earn decent amount. They should earn like directors of private sector company. They should earn well, but that should be all. There should be no extra code of $1,000 per night. That's why you fly and spend. First, you are not around to even do lawmaking, right? Because you need to collect that extra code. The reason why you went was not necessary. So at the end of the day, who loses out? Us. So let me stop that and move on with the question. So another one is, how do we bring in landlords? Landlords are the easiest people to bring into the tax net. You know why? They can't hide what they own. When you earn salaries, you can hide. It's so difficult. I need intelligence, bank account, BVN, who is the employer, employment contract. It's complicated. Landlords, I just need to know where the land is and where the property is. If you don't give me the information, I will value it. And it's easy to estimate. You can say, in this area, this is how much rent is going for. When I want to do that, I will overstate it so that I force you to come and speak the truth. So landlords are not difficult to track down in that sense. But because people who own property are not the poorest people in society, they are very powerful. So they will fight back. My view is that this time around, it should be about this country, and we should not allow anybody to stop these efforts to get us moving. If you already pay PAYE, and you also have savings, or you have a farming business by the side, and you are paying PAYE, are we saying you must now come and pay tax again on your savings and farming business? The answer is yes and no. If you earn 100,000 naira per month and you pay PAYE, let's say 10,000, and you have 90,000 left, and you're able to manage your life and save 20,000 out of it, you spend 70K. That 20,000 over time, nobody can ask you to pay tax on it. You've paid tax already. Whatever that amount is tax-free. Okay? But if you have 100,000 naira salary, you pay PAYE of 10,000, but you also have another business like farming, okay, like buying and selling. You go to Dubai when you're coming, you buy stuff, or you have one small business center, or you have a car, you're doing taxi business, and you are making money by the side, and you haven't paid tax on it. Under VAIDS, go and declare and pay if you can. If you cannot, prepare for the consequences. If your money is very small, take the risk and you're likely to get away with it. Even though I want everybody to pay, but we also need to be realistic, right? But if the money is substantial, substantial in Nigeria start from 500,000 naira. I told you that data. If anything that is flowing through your account is 500K or more, you are at risk. You know the first level they will come to, but they might come to you at some point. Ogun State just announced last week that from 2, when this thing started, they have 2 people in Ogun State that paid 10 million naira or more. They now have 45. Data is powerful. They use data to chase people. They said they collected 500 million naira already from rich people in Ogun State, and that's just Ogun State. And they're all over the state, they're in Delta State as well. Okay, so I have 2 more. One question says you have only 9 months for this important program. That's too short, can't we extend it? I think that government will extend it, but nobody wants to talk about it. Because once you give the impression that you will extend, people will then wait again. Okay? So, the answer now is that there's no plan to extend. Everybody should work with 31st of March. We still have enough time to declare. This is that we're talking about won't even take more than 2 weeks. If it gets to that point and government finds it necessary to extend, I can guarantee you they will extend the time. But that's not a conversation that is ongoing at the moment. The last question is, these days, what is in need for us? Yes, I like that question. As accountants, as lawyers, as tax practitioners, what is in need for us? I made a comment before that I honestly believe that we're going to be the biggest beneficiaries of these days. So many reasons. One is, today I told you we have 40 million people in the tax and it should be 77 million. Companies that are registered with the CAC and that are active are over 1 million, even though most of them are small. Those that are in the tax net until recently were under 150,000. So you had like 10% are in the tax net, about 90% are not even there. They're not paying tax, they're not doing anything. Imagine if everybody has to start doing the right thing, especially in high net worth, big companies and the medium-sized companies. Do you think they understand tax law? They don't. They will need lawyers, they will need accountants, they will need tax practitioners. When they come to those people, you will not do it for free, isn't it? You make money in the process. When the money starts coming into Nigeria and you fix infrastructure, what happens is businesses thrive even more. When businesses thrive, they need lawyers, they need accountants. So one thing leads to another, and that's why you find in developed countries, they don't earn this kind of ridiculous money we earn in Nigeria as professionals. Somebody will say, I'm a lawyer in the US. I was in London last week, and we're just discussing generally about employment and profession. Somebody said to me that if you say you were a mechanic in Nigeria or you are an electrician, people look down on you because you are likely to be poor. You are an electrician in the UK, you earn more than an accountant who is going to the office in tie and suit. Because they are well respected, they do a good job, and he said, so the guy even gave me an example of someone, said the good thing is even that the guy doesn't work 5 to 7. Sorry, 5, is it 7 to 5? 9 to 5. The guy doesn't work 9 to 5. He gets called to do electrical work, he does 2 hours, he's clocking 300 pounds, he's fine. He does 3 of that in a week, 1,000 pounds. In a month, 4,000 pounds, that's like 2 million naira. What else is he looking for? Good life. Truth of the matter is, when you have economic activities going up, professional skill cannot be acquired as quickly. So you have more demand than the supply, and then the price goes up. So the reason why we are not well paid is because the supply is more than the demand. What we need in this country, we don't even have 20% of it. I don't have the data for lawyers, but for accountants, we have less than 100,000 qualified accountants in Nigeria. Less than 100,000. You know the number we need? We need more than 500,000 accountants to service Nigeria, even now. But their services are not being required, because 90% of people who should need their services don't need it. When they need financial statement, they call someone who cooks the books. It's not their account, it's just an account that has their name on it. FRS has reported before to a committee where I was a member, and I will not tell you which committee. FRS found 10 financial statements. All the numbers from beginning to the end were exactly the same. The only difference was the name of the company. Can you imagine? You want to lie, you are not even smart about it, and you are so lazy. You know the way it happened, just to be conscious of the time. This FRS officer was looking at a company's book. Let's say it's ABC Limited, in the evening before closing. He looked at it and was making a note on the query to send. When he finished, he closed the file, gave it to a junior officer, returned it to the cabinet. I'm going home. He went. He came back the following day and called the junior officer, give me XYZ. Officer brought XYZ. My friend opened it. It was exactly what he did. He called the guy and said, are you crazy? I said, bring XYZ. I just looked at this one yesterday. I said, sir, no, this is XYZ. The one you look at is different. I said, what do you mean by that? I said, sir, let me bring it. He went and brought ABC. Side by side, every damn thing. The way they put full stop, comma, is the same thing. That was when they now triggered investment. They found, at the time they reported, they found 10. I'm sure they will find more. All audited by one person and prepared by one person. Now, those are 10 companies that should have hired 10 accountants, isn't it? They got one fraudulent accountant and he did the magic. So the reason is, when things don't work well, we all suffer. We may not know it, but we're all suffering the consequences. When things work well, we all benefit. And it will be easy. Somebody said, even though I think they might change their mind if they make 10 million. Let's say if I make 10 million naira per month, I shall pay 60% tax. But I think the message is very clear. The message is that if I earn a good living, paying tax is not my biggest problem. But when I'm struggling to survive, sir, I don't want to pay tax. The last question I have is, okay, that's what is in for us. So that is the end of the question. So thank you very much for this very time. So you know the code of conduct if you will answer, right? If you are in public service, you work in financial institutions, you are meant to declare your assets. Now the reason why this is one of the dumbest things we have in Nigeria. I can tell you as an accountant with my play extremely and you will not know. What countries where a declaration that covers everything? If I'm going into government today, I'm going into government today. And then I declare, you ask me to declare my. How is your asset declaration able to find out? Maybe that's even easy to find out if you invest it and make it more contemporary. But what they do in Nigeria is nobody cares about any law until you need to fight it. Purposes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That applause is supposed to be louder. Thank you. Let's appreciate him a lot. Thank you very much. And that's what I would call a professorial presentation. He has dealt with all the issues. I believe earlier. God is here. He came earlier and left, but he's now back. The Kerry will give us a vote of thanks and of course the closing remarks. One more time, the Kerry.
The Vice Chairman of ASABA and District Society. So Ekeruche is the chairman, but unavoidably absent. He was here earlier, but he has to rush back to the office to do government job. So please, I'm standing in for Ekeruche. Well, what do we say? But first of all, thank our God Almighty, who has made this day possible, who has given us the privilege of seeing this great day that we woke up this morning. It's a miracle on this morning. So join me in clapping for God. I also want to thank every one of you present here, that without you it wouldn't have been possible. So it is together that we will succeed. I thank God especially for the presenters for coming here safely despite the back roads. I thank you for this program that have come up. You will agree with me that we have all broadened our knowledge, and not only the knowledge base, it will also going to enhance our income as lawyers and as chartered accountants. I also pray for all of you that as you go back to your respective destinations, that God's journey mercies will also go with you. So thank you and God bless you.
Sorry, just a quick one, I forgot to mention this. There's a flyer on iOS, like iPhone, or the Android powered one like Samsung and the rest of them. So just go to your Play Store, go to Google Play Store or iOS Store, and just look for Tax 247 and download it. It's free. You find more than 50 tax laws there, and you get daily updates about what's happening in the tax environment, including our analysis. You see decided cases. Some of the features you need to subscribe to get access to them, but the tax laws are completely free, as well as the tax updates. I encourage you to download it because it's free. It's good to get that knowledge. It helps a lot with the next phases of what we need to do as a people. So I just thought I should mention that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And one more time, the cover price for the book is 4,000 naira. Inside on taxation of...
I'm Taiwo Idile. I'm the head of tax for PwC, and I'm the chairman of the Tax Faculty Management Board of ICANN.
Please tell us about this CIT.
Yeah, so VAIDS is the, let me call it tax amnesty that government has introduced, because the level of tax compliance in Nigeria is very low. Our tax to GDP ratio is only 6%. The money we collect from taxes is not enough to make development happen in Nigeria. We know that times are hard, things are difficult, but there are still people who make a lot of money and they're not paying taxes. So the whole idea is, let's give people the opportunity to voluntarily declare. If they were not fully compliant in the past, let them do it now, and there'll be no consequences in terms of penalty, interest, and prosecution. So that's the whole idea of the VAIDS scheme.
So, if we don't pay, when is this related time? If we don't pay our tax, what is the consequence?
Yeah, so if you don't pay your tax, this is up now from now till, in fact, started 1st of July until 31st of March 2018. If you don't do it and the period, the window closes, what's going to happen is government is collecting intelligence. BVN about what you have in your bank account, land registry if you have land or property, motor vehicle registration if you have motor vehicle registration, for example, and if you already bought dollars before, maybe if it is to travel abroad, they have those data. What's going to happen is, if they see that you have something to declare and you fail to declare, they come after you, they collect the tax, penalty and interest, and you may be prosecuted.
Exactly. What is tax? Like, you know, in tax, 10% of what tax, and who are those people who are taxable?
Yeah, so tax is a creation of the law, and it's just something you pay because government says you should pay. Sometimes it's based on your income, it can be based on consumption, like VAT, it can be based on profit, like company income tax, and the list continues, like even stamp duty on transactions. Now, the whole idea is that it's not a flat rate that applies to everyone, so it depends on the tax you're talking about. VAT is 5%, personal income tax is between 7% and 24%. Company income tax is 30%, education tax is 2%. So everybody has to look at their own affairs and say, what tax am I likely to, and then pay it. If they don't understand it, there are community tax liaison officers that are being trained nationwide, 7,500 of them, that can assist people to be able to do it. Those who can afford it can hire consultants, professionals and lawyers to help them comply. No, there's no age. So unfortunately, in Nigeria, it's about income. It's not about the age.
So the public has argued that the government is not transparent enough in declaring the tax collection, and people are reluctant to pay. What is your view on that?
Yes, so the people are right. Government has not been transparent enough. I have to say that in all honesty. So we read on the pages of newspaper, billions that have been stolen. Not even billion in Nigeria, billion in dollars. Those things are very painful and they're very discouraging. So governments all over the world will take care of the people and provide social services. That's the essence of tax. I should not have to pay tax and fix my road, generate my electricity, do my borehole, even security you cannot guarantee, education is not provided. It's painful and it's sad. But that's what has happened to us in the past. We cannot be stuck with the past. We need to move on. So the idea now is, let's pay, hold government to account to do the right thing. If they don't do the right thing, we hold them out and bring in people who want to work for the purpose of Nigeria and to spend taxpayer money for taxpayer purposes.
My name is John. Yes,
Please tell us, how is this settled?
very enlightening. It's beautiful. Thank you. Because, we may not know what is required of us. And we can just sit down and look until we are taking my class. It's good we know what to do. We know how to advise others and get people to fall in line. Because obedience is prepared to sacrifice.
What's your advice to others in trying to pay their taxes?
You should tell people to do the right thing. It's a requirement of the law. It's not about, it's not new. Yes, it's a mandate to us. We are required to just follow. And for those of us who have participated, we now have like the responsibility